Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Talking City podcast with myself, Alex James, and Chief City writer Simon Bajkowski, who's got a bit of a grin on his face because we were just 5 minutes into a recording and the fire alarm went off. So this is take two.
I was worried about getting burnt in Palermo, but not in the offices of the Manchester Evening News.
I know, yeah. And I made a little joke about your shorts and your fashion sense, and
yeah, it was good. It was good as well. It was wasted, I think. I'd pointed out that these shorts, while what's the word? Exceptional from a fashion point of view, do not contain my phone, so that is why it's on the table, which is now ringing. Oh dear. So that's why it's on the table. A little bonus for people this episode. I'll just ignore my wife who's ringing me. So
little peek behind the curtain there of the professionalism that we have here at the MEN.
Yes. But Manchester City, yeah, let's talk about them. I was at the training ground yesterday for the City are back, which is a bit presumptuous, I feel, because we don't know if they're back. That's the big question.
They were back in Manchester.
But they were back. No, they are back at the training ground, yeah, I suppose that. Yeah. And it was nice. It was a good session and quite well attended. I think it was about a fiver. There was some horrific rain early on when the women were just starting training, but it cleared up. And it was quite nice. There was a big Facebook Live of it on our Facebook page.
And you spoke.
Seems to be enjoyed. I spoke to
a couple of the players. Is that
a couple of the players as well? Yeah, which was nice. And what was nice about that is that I mainly spoke to Phil Foden, and I've spoken to Phil a lot down the years, showing my age more than his probably. But I've spoken to Phil when he's been really happy to chat, and I've spoken to Phil when he's been less happy to chat, but has been told he needs to or wanted to, but then really isn't in the mood. And like, that's not a criticism of him because we all have it.
Yeah.
But he was really happy yesterday, really happy to chat, and sort of had buzzed about the session, and then came sort of bounding over to us with a big grin on his face and laughing, and just seemed kind of, I spoke to him in January when things were starting to get a bit better for him in the season, but he'd still had a lot of baggage and still had a lot of that to deal with. And he just felt a lot freer, seemed a lot freer yesterday, which can only be a positive.
And that, from what I gather, that kind of reflected the mood generally as well. It wasn't just Phil, sort of bouncing around enjoying himself. It was you got the feeling that it was a relaxed and positive.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was very good, and sort of we've heard a lot of Pep's new assistants, and Pep Lijnders was sort of bossing the session, and Kolo Touré was sort of looking after the ones who weren't really involved. That kind of, the squad's too big. It's weird seeing more than 22 players on a pitch, but because Lijnders was taking the session, it meant Pep could just be like in the middle of it all, and like he would. Maybe he'd sort of go to a player and ask him to take him on, or he'd just kind of like be in their positions and then see things and then tell them things. And quite a few players over the course of the session, as you can imagine, that he would go over to and say, "Oh, what were you doing there? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that?" and things like that. And maybe it's naive and it'll all come crashing down, and people will say, "Well, the assistants made no impact whatsoever." But it always feels better. You always feels like you get more out of Pep when his assistants are doing more. Like when Pep doesn't feel like he has to do everything and take everything, he can do more of the things that he wants to do, and kind of, if he's not leading a session, he can be in the thick of it and
see things that others probably can't.
Yeah,
that he potentially wouldn't.
Yeah, and because not only does he kind of see things quicker and more than nearly anyone else, like he's also been a world-class player and kind of been in those positions on the pitch and done things and things like that. So, it felt like they were getting a lot out of it.
And you mentioned the squad is too big. But everybody was there. Jack Grealish was there. James Bajkowski was there. The sort of players who we're anticipating will depart this summer.
Yeah, Grealish was involved. There was a big like attacking drill that they must have done for like 15 minutes, and Grealish was involved in that. McAtee wasn't, which didn't look great, if I'm honest. There was a bunch of 5 of them on like the other side of the pitch. It was Kusanov, McAtee, Echeverry, Diaz, and Akanji, and they were just like stood there, just kind of like doing nothing. And occasionally, like they'd throw a ball to each other and head it or whatever. And Colatori was kind of like, "Oh yeah, do that or whatever." But it just kind of felt like surely some of these guys can swap in for whoever's in this attacking drill rather than just making them look like a spare part. Basically, like Hugo Vallarta sat there probably thinking, right, well, there's at least 5 players I need to get rid of. Not necessarily those 5, but like we can't have this in a training session because it did look a bit strange and does emphasize the point that has been made that, the squad's too big and needs trimming down.
What about the sort of 4 senior signings, the James Traffords, the Ryans, Aitnori and Cherky and Reinders?
Yeah, Cherky got quite a lot of attention from Pep. Pep was on Cherky quite a lot, telling him various things after he did certain things and things like that, and Aitnori as well on that left hand side. So that was something that he was definitely working on. Trafford got a lot of work because it was kind of like an attack drill without any defenders. So basically, your Haalands and Marmouche of the world lining up to blast the ball at your goalkeeper, which will mean a lot of work for Trafford. He's not that big, is he, James Trafford? Like when he walks past you close up, he's not imposing like Ederson is, I wouldn't say.
Yeah.
Like he's obviously a tremendous shot stopper and goalkeeper, but it's going to be different, I think, having Trafford in goal than having Ederson in goal.
Yeah, he's a little bit, I guess, a little bit slighter.
Yeah. I think he's shorter and slighter, which kind of, you always want your goalkeeper to be like 7 foot tall and 7 foot wide, but but it was it was played at a good energy. And another thing is that Rodri kind of was involved for the whole session. Like it wasn't a full session and it wasn't like full intensity, full tilt, really. Yeah. But to say he spent a lot of time last week doing kind of individual work, it kind of bodes. It looked good. I thought that he was out there for the full thing.
Yeah, and we'll get further indication, obviously, on Saturday in Sicily. Right, isn't it? Yeah, you're looking
Saturday night, yeah.
Yeah, you're looking at me then as if my geography was all.
No,
I
just thought you said Sicily rather coquettishly.
Great word.
Yeah. I don't know if you're being condescending or not.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's just my manner.
Yeah.
Obviously, further indication as to sort of where we're looking at ahead of the new season, and this is the perfect place to read too much into open training sessions and friendly lineups. But it will be it's the only real sort of full scale fixture, isn't it?
I think we'll see a squad. I think they will take a squad over, and I think in the same way that they took a Club World Cup squad and that didn't have certain names on, I think they will take a squad over to Italy, and maybe we will see which players are not involved there, and that might bring some clarity to the window for the final few weeks, I would say.
Yeah. Of those new signings, I think last time we were on the podcast, certainly relatively recently on the podcast, you kind of made the point, you see James Trafford as possibly the most important of those 4. I mean, I would probably put him at 4th in the list of most important.
Wow.
But I would caveat with saying I don't see any of those sort of 4 main signings as been a poor signing, a bad signing. I think they're all pretty intelligent and pretty good and pretty exciting signings. But just Cherky, I think, he's the one you're probably most looking forward to seeing play, just partly because of his position and his sort of demeanour and his ability in that final third. But then you've got a Reinders and Aitnori who I think are going to change that 11. Like Aitnori allows is a fix to a position that hasn't had a fix for so long,
Yeah.
and allows Guardiola, who was the sorry, am I keeping you up?
Yes.
Was
Yeah.
the was one of the hottest centre backs in Europe when he joined City, and has barely played at centre back since.
Yeah.
Allows him to play alongside Diaz, and Reinders and Rodri just feels very natural as a two in midfield. But I think you could probably make a case for either or all of them been
either or all or neither or none. That didn't really work, did it? I felt like it was going to be really good, that, and then it wasn't. Yeah, I think where we're at with this City squad is it is a City squad full of question marks. From the new signings to the current players, like is Foden going to get back to his best? We don't know. Is Stones? We don't know. Is Pep? We don't know. But the new signings have all got question marks. Like, can Cherki step it up from the French league? Can Reinders from Serie A? Is Trafford the man to replace Ederson? And can Aït-Nouri kind of solve that left back issue that has existed for many, many years, or kind of show that Pep should have had a left back all these years, that kind of thing. I think they've all got huge potential, and I think if Trafford were to fulfill his potential, then you were solving like one of the most difficult positions on the pitch for a decade, and at a fee that it works out at something like 13, 14 million, I think, when you take in what they got from Burnley for him and then have paid back. So that is why I think Trafford has the makings of being the best of the 4 or 5 signings and things like that. But I agree, they're all decent and they've all got potential. And you know, I don't want to be too happy clappy, but like the internet at the minute is such a horrendous hole of negativity, and I see so much negativity towards like every single City player online and things like that. And I'm not saying it's representative of the fan base. I think it's representative of like the world and the internet, and like just how much license people have been given to just like scream when they don't get what they want and things like that. But it seems particularly bad everywhere at the minute and for every fan base. But like, it seems like every player is a problem. Even like, you know, you say, oh, Ruben Diaz is getting a new contract. Why is he getting a contract? That's exactly why we're in this mess. And you just think like, why everything's so negative? So I think we are sometimes critical of Manchester City and Manchester City players, but I think as far as the summer window goes, like, you sort of have to look at, I'm not looking at it negatively because I've not seen the evidence to think, oh, well, they won't work and they won't work and they won't work. I think I can see logic behind all of City's signings. And like you say, if they come good, then they have the chance to really transform the team.
Yeah. And also August is the one, this sort of 2 week period is the 2 weeks where we should be full of positivity.
Yeah.
Nothing's happened yet to dampen any pre-season expectations, and we can all look ahead to a season where City win everything. It's a bleak midwinter when you've lost 3 games in a row where you need to get the negativity out.
Yeah. But I think because there are so many question marks, I kind of think that's why, you know, Liverpool are seen as better challenge to win the league. Arsenal are seen as better challenge to win the league. You've sort of got like half the squad is old guard saying we've still got it, and half the squad is new era saying, yeah, we're not in transition, we're ready now. And you're like, I don't know if either of those statements are true and if they will marry up and whatever. But, you know, it's certainly an interesting combination and a watchable situation to see what happens.
Yeah, and it was pretty telling. Like, John Stones spoke as well, didn't he, at training on Tuesday, and he was the latest in a kind of a long line of people who we perhaps are not concerned about, but are sort of wondering what might happen to them over the next 12, 18, 24 months. He was the latest to come out and say, well, what are you talking about? I'm fully fit, I'm raring to go, and I'm ready to win a few trophies again.
Yeah, I mean, he described it as laughable, like the speculation around his future, which, like, maybe it is to him. I don't think there's any City fan who would want to sell a John Stones that is fully fit.
No.
Because when he's fit, he's the best, one of the
it's
best players on the planet, not even
Champions League
defenders.
final.
However, he was barely fit last year, and Guardiola made a point of saying, I need players who are going to be fit and fit regularly, and not like, oh, I'm coming back for this game, but you need to take me off at half time because I'm injured for the next month again. Like, regularly fit for most of the season, and Stones hasn't been that, and hasn't been that for too long, really. So, like, if you're looking at a squad that's too big and you need players who are going to be fit, you're looking at John Stones, and you're thinking, well, you've got a lot to prove. So I don't think the speculation around Stones has been laughable at all.
And his contract situation as well.
Yeah, exactly. He has got more to prove than most in a way, because he needs to show that he can get back to the level that he wants to be. And he's spoken about, finishing his career at City. Well, at the minute, that's still quite a few years away.
Yeah.
And you're going to need to keep your level and keep your fitness for that time if you are going to do that. So, you can have optimism about John Stones coming back, but a lot of people see comments from John Stones saying, oh, I'm fit again, and think, how long's that lasting?
Before,
Yeah.
I don't think he's played since the Real Madrid Champions League tie, which was, when was that? February?
Yeah. And came off injured in that in like the 3rd minute.
Yeah, early, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Did they concede in the 2nd and he went off in the 4th, something like that? Yeah, so it's been a long old time. He didn't get any minutes at the Club World Cup, so it's been a long old road to recovery with like a baffling mystery illness, mystery injury. So yeah, he's another that feels like he has something to prove, and if he can prove it, then absolutely great.
He's one of them as well, because he missed the last 3 months. If his season had been flipped round, because he scored that last minute goal at Wolves to win the game. Yeah. He scored
against
the Arsenal equaliser. And my memory, I think he played 20 odd games for City and England, which
is always fit for England.
Is another thread to pull at. But
yeah,
it's because a bit of recency bias as well there, perhaps, that he hasn't been fit for the second half of the season. Yeah. But you forget actually that he did contribute a reasonable amount to City's strong start to
correct.
last season.
Correct, yeah.
But yeah, certainly a player who, particularly if Aït-Nouri comes in, hits the ground running at left back, and therefore Gvardiol and Diaz is seen as the sort of starting centre-half partnership.
Yeah.
Because I know Stones he could break that partnership, he could play it right back, he could play midfield, but that's a lot of coulds.
Yeah, and there's a lot of cuds, and there's a lot of cuds around the squad.
Yeah, well, same with Trafford a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah. And same with, like, Diaz wasn't near his best last season and said,
there's still that was pace a blip, in that.
But I'm back. Is he back? Kanji has had sort of growing concerns over the summer and is now looked at as like, is he one of the non-homegrown players that might be picked to leave and things like that? Kusanov, who
knows?
Who knows? Unknown quantity still. And then you've got Lewis and Nunes at right back, who both have, continued question marks.
Pros and cons for.
Yeah.
And neither see themselves as a right back either.
Yeah. So, what I would say is that it kind of fits into I think City sit comfortably kind of where they are. They sit comfortably as favourites, but like they will sit very comfortably as like people are writing us off. We want to prove them wrong. Like that's what Pep's done throughout his career. It's what
mentality.
Everyone in the squad is kind of part of their mentality. That's why they've been picked. And like Bernardo Silva being captain of the group, he is one of the main people who will drive that message home. And that is, I think while they are still question marks and we don't know how things are going to go, I think it is a positive that there are so many people in that squad desperate to prove a point, because ultimately, like last season, a bit of mentality dropped and a bit of hunger dropped, and now they've known what it feels like again, going through a season where you're not that great and you get criticised half, every other week. And it's not nice. And it's on them to change that.
How do you view? I know you'll be in Sicily on Saturday. How important a sort of run out is that, given the kind of truncated summer City have had and been in the Club World Cup, then they've been training and.
I don't think it's important. I don't think it's too bad. I think it's just more to sort of see how they're shaping up and things like that. You know, they're playing against a team who are in the Italian second division. They've got a new manager who's sort of playing his first game there. So I don't think they will learn too much from the game. But I do think that I think it would be more important for seeing sort of the shape of the squad and how they are looking for the new season rather than anything too much else.
Yeah, I can't work out if City are going to go into this season undercooked or quite nicely where they need to be, having had like a bulk of training and not too many fixtures.
I think they'll be quite nice. I think they'll be in a decent spot. I think the summer has worked out quite well for them, despite the fact they'd rather have gone further in the Club World Cup. And I think that new bounce that they've got will get them through a few months, and then they're kind of, we talk about, are they back and are they, these doubts over every player and sort of the squad as a collective, they will have them as well. They're not fully sure. Maybe they thought they were brilliant after beating Juventus, and then Al Hilal happened and they're like, oh, here we go again. Like, if they can get through the first few months with pretty good results, that will only bolster the confidence for the rest of the season, basically.
Yeah, and it feels like those first must be 3 games potentially in August before the window shuts, and then there's the September international break. After that September international break, most of these questions will have been answered. Whoever's gone will have gone, obviously.
Yeah.
And whoever's kind of established themselves as first 11 players, that will have been established. There'll have been 3 or 4 games to adjust to.
And they've got United at home and then Arsenal away in consecutive weeks, and Champions League starts up around then. So it's like it starts to get serious again, and you start to see who is really up for it and who's going to be really important in the team. Doku and Savino are going to come out and have their breakthrough year where they're tearing it up, and Leroy Sané and get in the Premier League. We don't know, but if one of those can really seize that opportunity, then that could transform the season as much as a new player could.
Is there a danger that City don't trim the squad as much as they need to, or will they find homes for who they need to find a home for?
I think they will find homes for who they need to find homes for. I think obviously Everton are interested in Grealish. I think Everton feel like a good fit for Grealish. I know there's questions on money and things like that, but City have certainly not knocked back the approach from Everton. McAtee will find a home. I think Echeverry will find a home as well. Ortega, surely, like, he must go and go and be number one somewhere.
You'd think, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
He'll want that as well. With obviously he knows where he stands at City now, which is where he wants to be. And
then it's just kind of one other. But if I don't know, if I'm a senior player, I don't want to be getting left out of that Champions League squad.
Yeah.
I would rather move somewhere and play. So I just can't see that they would get themselves into a situation where Pep is having to leave out a player who it can't be dressed up as anything other than a snub.
Yeah. Good journalistic word as well.
Like a snub.
And as you said, the Palermo, I mean, it won't solve those issues, the squad that goes to Palermo, because there is no squad limit on how many players they can take out for a friendly against a sister club. But it'll be pretty telling as to who is left out, as to who is therefore going to go and who's going to go out on loan.
Yeah, and
probably pretty sharpish as well.
It's it's a City Football Group club, so they can do what they like. But the fact that they're treating it like a Champions League game, they're going out the day before, they're flying out, they're training in the morning, they're flying out in the afternoon, they're doing media in the evening. Pep's doing a press conference like he would for a Champions League game. They're playing the Saturday, and then they're flying home on the Sunday like they would for. So it's a friendly that they've arranged. a friendly, if you will,
Yeah.
with sort of a group, a club in the umbrella of the City Football Group, but they are treating it like right now, let's mean business kind of thing and get the season going.
And you'll be there Friday for said press conference,
Yes.
Saturday for the game itself. So all the usual be all the trimmings from the friendly in terms of what you can expect to see across the coverage from Sicily on the MEN. How is your Italian? It's limited or
molto bello, I think. Yeah, very good.
Very good. I'll take your word for that because my Italian is non-existent. But yeah, you can expect to hear plenty from Sai out in Sicily, and follow it all across our usual channels and social medias. And we might even squeeze in a little video or a Facebook Live or something from
That'd be nice.
From the Med.
The Med, yeah.
If not, we will speak to you again soon. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.